Hello coaches, thanks for joining me for another World Cup breakdown. Again, we're going to look at an upset. Again, we're going to look at the defensive side of the game. If you want to keep watching these World Cup breakdowns, subscribe below, give it a like so you don't miss any more. Okay, we're going to talk about Japan against Germany today. Brilliant game from a tactical standpoint. Something that jumped out to me was the change that Japan made towards the second half on their pressing system. Let's take a look at that. Let's see why they did it, and let's see what changes that led to, how that led to a better press, a more effective press, but also more chances against Germany. Let's go. Alright, so both teams on paper started off with two traditional formations. Germany in white started in a 4-2-3-1 expansive shape. Japan decided to press in a mid-high block 4-4-2. The number 9 pressed on the ball, screened the number 6. The idea was to take care of those central spaces and then allow the fullbacks and the wide midfielders to jump out when the ball was played. Again, quite traditional in both shapes. On paper, that looks like a pretty standard fix to play it against an expansive 4-2-3-1 by Japan. Try and press the centre-backs and screen the double sixes at the same time. Prevent the ball from going in. Show it to the outside. Press with the wide midfielders, should be easy enough. But Germany made it pretty tricky. Let's see how they did it. So Germany pretty early on made a change that made it very, very difficult for Japan. They moved their left forward inside pocket, inside the fullback, to pin the fullback back, put the left back higher, and then drop the right back to build as a 3. And now they're looking at a back 3 build against 2, and it's almost a 5 against 2, where a bounce pass releases one of the double sixes, and then that picture there shows the pressure it can put, a back 4 under, 5 or 6 runners, wide space and vertical space, very, very difficult to defend against, and that was a major problem for Japan. Another problem Germany gave to the Japan press was once they bounced to one of the double sixes, the double 6 went low. Again, it creates a back 3, but now you've got 2 fullbacks high, and you've got a centre back that can drive with the ball, with time, space, and runners ahead. Again, think of being a defender with these types of pictures, the amount of pressure that puts on you, but also from a collective standpoint, how that pushed Japan back 20, 30, 40, 50 yards throughout the first half. Very, very difficult to play against. And then another movement of Germany was whenever they built in that back 3 again with the fullback inside and 1 fullback high, they dropped Muller, the number 10, they dropped him out if Japan wide midfielder stepped to the fullback. And now, again, the picture is a wide overload, but again, look at the white shirts. They're almost outnumbering the Japan back 4. Again, time, space. And the only real solution for Japan to do in all those situations are to drop numbers behind the ball, get compact, get organised, but it pushes you 50, 60 yards away from the opponent's goal. They changed something at half-time with the press that I thought was excellent, that I thought got them back in the game. This is what they did. Alright, so the change was to go into almost a 3-5-2 press. And what that does is it allows the 2 centre forwards of Japan to apply immediate and aggressive pressure on the 2 centre backs of Germany, knowing that they don't have to worry about the double sixes behind them because the double sixes are covered with player-to-player coverage from the Japan midfielders. What Japan did that I thought was really, really good was instead of the wing-backs staying wide with the Germany full-backs, they pushed the wing-backs inside, which allowed them then to screen those passes in the inside channels if one of the Germany forwards dropped in or if Muller dropped around the number 6. They could screen those passes from inside, but again, what that gave them was a lot of numbers centrally. If Germany decided to go long and they won a second ball, they've got those numbers central to transition and attack Germany. And what I thought that did was that pushed Germany back 15, 20, 30 yards from where they were starting most of their builds, pushed them back. Neuer had to be more involved in goal kicks. More goal kicks went long. Japan were a bigger threat in transition because they had numbers and support, and it led to them getting back in the game. They created a couple of chances. Germany made a great save just before the equaliser, and Japan were allowed to sustain that high press throughout the game. Absolutely brilliant. So there you have it. Again, something tactical, some change that can make a massive difference in the game. We sometimes talk about a press not working because people aren't working hard enough. But sometimes it's just the system that can change, that gives players a license to press aggressively without worrying about a player around them or behind them, that they maybe have to be a bit careful about whenever they're pressing. Once Japan went into that 3-5-2, it allowed them to be really, really aggressive and allowed them to push Germany further back. Now, granted, there is a risk. We talked about a risk in yesterday's report with Saudi Arabia. There is a risk if you go player to player at the back or you give Germany that space in behind. But something that I'm noticing in the World Cup is that teams aren't afraid of that risk. Now, you could argue that they've got time to prepare and with scouting, etc., etc. But I think it's great that teams are now offering their opponents a different type of picture that they maybe would have got from scouting. Because if you look at the scout, they probably have spent 6 months, 12 months maybe, trying to work a team out. Have they seen these pictures? And then once they change the pictures, how quickly can they get that information onto the players? I'm fascinated by in-game changes because they're really, really tricky to do. When do you do them? How do you practice them? How much time do you spend on one system or another? Do you work on 2 or 3 systems at the same time? I'm hoping we see a bit more of that in the World Cup and we get a bit more insight on that. I really, really enjoyed the game. Really exciting finish as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please, as always, give it a like and a subscribe below. Hopefully we can continue these breakdowns for the World Cup. If you want more tactical content, we're having a sale on Friday during England and USA. 24-hour sale. Everything on the Modern Soccer Coach website will be 40% off. So make sure on Friday when you're watching the games, take yourself down to modernsoccercoach.com/shop. Link is below. There's loads of videos, there's loads of webinars, there's loads of resources. There's a few free resources on there too. Friday's the day of the biggest deal. Please check it out. Thanks for the support. I will see you later.